County Finance and Budgeting Committee meeting for Monday, October 2nd, 2017. Will please come to order and the clerk will call the roll.
Calling the roll, Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Jones.
Here.
Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon is absent. Mr. Harrison.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher. Here. Mr. Schron. Mr. Schron is absent. Ms. Brown. Here. There's a quorum. Also would like the record to reflect that Council President Brady and Councilmember Baker are in attendance.
Okay, thanks very much to Council President and to Ms. Baker for being here with us today. And has anybody signed in for public comment related to the agenda?
No, Mr. Chair, no one has signed in.
Okay, in your packets, you have the minutes for the meeting from September 18th, 2017. Would somebody like to offer a motion relative to those minutes?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes for September 18th, 2017. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Ayes have it, and the minutes are approved from September 18th, 2017. And I'm going to skip to the discussion item just for a moment. That's item number 6, the update on the 2018 to 19 budget process. And just wanted to make everybody aware of key dates upcoming. We expect around Thursday or Friday of this week that we will get the budget resolution in the clerk's office, so that at that time we will be able to see the actual numbers that are being proposed. We probably won't have a whole lot of backup with it at that time, but we'll at least see the numbers. And then next Tuesday on the 10th, the same day as the council meeting, will be the official introduction of the budget resolution for first reading into the council, and at that time we will have an overview from the administration on what the numbers are in the big picture and what they mean and what their strategy is for balancing the budget. And then on the following Monday, on the 16th, then we're going to start the department by department review process on the budget. We should have budget books by then with all the details, hopefully a few days ahead so you can study them over the weekend. And there will be additional budget hearings and discussions later on in that week. So that's the plan for the start of the budget hearings. I encourage everybody to actively participate in that process and make their questions and desires known. So any comments or questions about the budget process? Okay, thank you. And now we will revert back to item number 5, which is matters referred to committee. First item is Resolution 2017-0167. Ms. Janine.
Resolution number 2017-0167, authorizing the Veteran Service Commission to issue Ohio Veterans Identification Cards to qualified individuals.
Okay. Who would present this legislation on behalf of the administration? Okay. Yes, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are introducing this legislation in concert with the administration, and as I've been asked to introduce it myself, and a lot of people have co-sponsored it already, I'd like to make at least a few comments before.
Please proceed.
Okay, all right. As you're probably aware, the county's been issuing veteran ID cards through the fiscal office since 2013. But with the passage of House Bill 173 last year, the council now may authorize the Veteran Service Commission to do the same. This would enhance our outreach efforts and provide easier access to services. So this legislation would request the authority to issue veterans identification cards to qualified Cuyahoga County residents at no cost. veteran ID cards are an easy way for veterans to provide their veteran status, making it simpler to apply for benefits and discounts available both in public and the private sector. These ID cards contain all the relevant information that would be included in the veteran's DD 214 discharge papers. So this would enable them to quite easily access with their card the identification they need to interact with the government and any other sector. And so we'd be glad to be able to make it easier and more convenient for our veterans to be able to access their benefits.
I'm presuming the state legislation that was passed requires the county legislative authority to authorize the Veteran Service
my
Commission to
understanding,
do
yes.
so, and so that's why we're here. Mr. King?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think the council president did a great job summarizing the purpose of the legislation. So if anybody has any questions about the substance, I'm happy to take those.
Is there any reason why this would need to be passed under second reading suspension, or are you recommending the normal process?
Obviously, it's up to the council, but the sooner the legislation moves forward, the sooner the Veteran Service Commission can begin issuing these ID cards.
Questions or comments by my colleagues? If there are none, would there be a motion?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd move the legislation. As I don't see any reason to take any more time at this. Everybody seems to be pretty clear cut. So if we could just move the legislation as quickly as possible, that would be my motion.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, Council President Brady isn't a member of the committee.
Oh, she's right. That's why we have a clerk.
So, who's offering the motion?
Okay.
So and are you going to move for second reading suspension? That's fine. Okay, and we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion from Councilman Hairston and a second from Vice President Jones. And that would be to move Resolution 2017-0167 to the full council with a recommendation to leadership for second reading suspension. Any further discussion? Hearing, yes. Okay. Fine. Okay. No further discussion?
If my
All-
name isn't already attached, I'd like to add it as well.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. The ayes have it, unanimously recommended to the full council. Resolution 2017-0177. Ms. Janine.
Resolution number 2017-0177, making awards on requisition number 39790 to various providers in the total amount not to exceed $2,328,000 for various real estate review and appraisal services in connection with the 2018 sexennial reappraisal for the period 7/17/2017 through 5/31/2018.
Lisa Rocco, Director of Operations, Fiscal Office. This master contract before you is for the 144 contract with appraisers at a cost not to exceed. Thank you. All right, thank you. At a cost not to exceed $2,328,000 to assist with the sexennial appraisal. As council is aware, this is the second sexennial appraisal to occur in Cuyahoga County since the change in government. Ohio Revised Code requires a mass review of all properties in a county every 6 years. The last one occurred in 2012. In the state of Ohio, the Department of Taxation has approved Cuyahoga County's 2018 sexennial project plan and has instructed Cuyahoga County to begin its work on the sexennial appraisal. The appraisal department currently has a staff of 10 residential agricultural appraisers and 9 commercial industrial appraisers. The fiscal office is required to field review, verify physical characteristics of, and value the physical inventory for approximately almost 451,000 parcels in Cuyahoga County by April of 2018. Therefore, the fiscal office is requesting this master contract for 44 appraisers to assist the appraisal department in this required task. The appraisal department needs the 44 appraisers to start this month in order to meet the requirement of completing the sexennial by April of 2018. Additionally, the appraisal department is required to file quarterly reports with the State Department of Taxation. And I'm asking council if we could suspend the rules and pass this master contract on second, because I don't want to cause any alarm with the Department of Taxation in Cuyahoga County not being able to get its required work done by April of 2018. Thank you.
Questions by my colleagues? Councilman Gallagher.
And how are the individuals chosen?
Jim Hopkins, Director of Appraisal. We ask for qualifications for state certified appraisers. They are state certified.
We put it out to bid,
Okay.
yes.
And these are the lowest?
Well, they're the best that we have in the field. They have to meet the requirements.
And who's in charge of?
Jim will be in charge of that, along with, we have two project managers, thank you, that will also be assisting in the selection.
Who determined they're the best?
We only had 44 of them apply, so we just took all of them.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Council President.
Just as maybe some members, probably Mike, but maybe not others, maybe Dale, just to remind him, years ago, the county used to have an appraisal department. It had in-house appraisers, both commercial, residential, industrial, and it was a department that operated all year round. And of course, this is the big appraisal.
Correct.
And I've, at some point, when I wasn't watching, must have been when I was in Columbus, that department no longer exists. I mean, in the sense that it existed in the past.
Correct. We've had as much as 40 appraisers at one time on staff. We now have 19.
Right. So just a little background on where we've come from doing a lot of this in-house to contracting a lot of it out. And I hope that we're doing as good a job or a better job. I hope we are. But I think that one has to wonder if when people are responsible on a day in, day out, year in, year out basis to the county and the people that they report to. And so it's their supervisors know what their skill levels are, know their work ethic. I just hope that we're doing that the people that we have doing this are supervised as well and are as responsible as county employees were, I'll say 30 years ago, just to give it a sense of when that existed. And I believe that was set up by George Voinovich as auditor back in the 70s.
Am I correct that at some times in the past, we've gone out and contracted with a firm who would then employ auditors, and so we'd have a single outside contract, but it costs a lot more money, and that we've shifted to a process where we choose the people individually and essentially cut the middleman out of this process. Is that correct?
That's partially correct, yes. We contracted a portion of it out in the past, mostly commercial, correct? Part, we did the residential in-house, but you are correct. It is to save money and do this in-house. And to your point, President Brady, we have two project managers on staff that fulfilled the state requirements and are registered at the Department of Taxation.
The 19 appraisers that you have on staff, do they also do some of these appraisals in addition to the in addition to the 44 that we're contracting with, or do they have other things to do when they don't participate in the appraisal process?
They will participate in this 2018 reappraisal. They will be helping out.
And how much time does an appraiser typically spend at a residential house, and how much do they do to verify whether there are additions or improvements or changes made in the property since the last appraisal was done?
We have a sophisticated permitting system here in Cuyahoga County, and we are aware of properties that have changed due to any type of new construction over the last 4 years. So we're aware of that when our contractors are out in front of the home with the valuation model in front of them. They will know that if there was some improvements or actually something taken away from the property, a raising, a garage torn down, or a wood deck taken down, they'll be aware of that. Now, in the event that they pull up to the house and there appears to be new construction going on and they check their data source, their book in front of them, and there's no mention of that, that will be red flagged. That page will be red flagged, and a county appraiser then will go out and be the one to value that property. So we have built into the system, if there is a few that are currently undergoing new construction and we're not aware of it via a permit from the cities, we will red tag that and a county appraiser will value that property.
If there's a property where improvements were done in the past, but they didn't get permits, how would you find that?
There's no guarantee that we would find all of them, right? It's incumbent upon the city to send us permits. If we can visually see it from the street, we will then make sure that we red tag it and we go back and we value that property with the improvements.
Ms. Baker?
Thank you. This is every 6 years,
That's correct.
so the last time we did it was 2012.
Yes.
So back in 2012, most homeowners were devalued, if anything, in their homes. That the cost of a home, it was a buyer's market, not a seller's. So did the numbers reflect that, that we were at that time at a loss of what was anticipated versus what was found?
So to your point, many communities fell under that scenario. There were a few communities throughout Cuyahoga County that fared the drop in prices. They didn't drop as drastically as others. The state of Ohio, the DTE, is responsible for reviewing our work. So once we value the properties based on current market conditions, the state of Ohio is the one that either accepts our abstract or we have conversations about it after the work is turned in. And it was accepted by the state of Ohio.
I guess my question is, given that we're now in 2017 going into 18, and the value of homes have increased because of the better market, are we anticipating that the returns will be greater than what was anticipated or what we would have gotten 6 years ago?
That's a good question. And right now, we do our work based on regions. And right now, we have not done the entire county yet to prep for the reappraisal. We're fully ready to go and get boots on the ground starting next week. And we're starting in a region in Cuyahoga County, which is region number 9. So I can't speak to the entire process, but I will tell you this, we all have a comfort level with the market has responded since 2012 in a favorable move.
Just one last follow-up.
Please proceed.
For those that perhaps got a lower tax liability because of the market back at 6 years ago, and now will perhaps see a higher valuation of their property, first of all, that could be a difficult process for them because of what they're going to owe more. And secondly, what type of appeal process is in place in case they should have a difference of opinion or lack of being able to pay what it is that we're saying now their house is worth?
Excellent question, thank you. We have, and it is mandated by the state of Ohio, to have what is called defensive values. The fiscal officer must defend his values, and we do that as we had in 2012. We utilized Tri-C Community College for what's called our informal appeal process. We send out a mailer to every taxpayer in Cuyahoga County, commercial and residential property owners. We give them the opportunity to submit any information about their property that we're not aware of. It's important to note that we do exterior drive-by appraisals. We do not get inside the homes, unfortunately. People aren't home, it's hard to get in. Now, if the taxpayers want us to come into the home after they receive their notice from us, we do what's called an interior inspection. More than happy to get inside their home and let them point out to us things about their home that we weren't aware of when we valued it from the street.
Right.
If they're not happy so then the process would be, the fiscal office does the informal reviews, and we haven't yet put pen to paper on where we're doing this. Tri-C worked out very well. They were a great business partner last time around, and I would recommend that this time as well. However, that's up to Mr. Kennedy, however he wants to move forward with that. But we will sit with the taxpayers. If then at that point, they're not happy with their valuation, then the Board of Revision comes into play. Then it's a formal appeal at the Board of Revision.
Board of Revision. And I guess, if you don't mind, just one.
Please, continue.
Because you mentioned drive-by, so you drive by an area and say, this area has really come along and is, generally speaking, should be raised in its valuation. But as you just said also, specifically, you may have homeowners that their house did not appreciate. If they were to sell it, it would not have gotten the dollar that perhaps we think it is. Is that where the Board of Revisions takes over in saying that may be a broad-based assessment of this neighborhood, but your specific house perhaps may not have increased?
We're doing mass appraisal work on our end, on the appraisal side. The Board of Revision looks at properties on an individual basis.
On individual.
So they have that ability to peel the onion on it.
Okay.
Not that we don't, we really, we identify our neighborhoods in Cuyahoga County. We have over 1,298 residential neighborhoods in Cuyahoga County. So we try to be as precise as possible. We look at the sales that have occurred in that individual neighborhood, and we value the entire neighborhood based on the sales that have taken place in those neighborhoods.
Right. Okay.
If I may, for a point of information, just as a follow-up, every 3 years we do an update and we just look at sales so that when we come to the sexennial, we have a good starting place so that we're not going from 12 to 18 and just they're
Right.
increasing.
But if I may, but to the homeowner,
It's a big.
they don't
it
see
could
the
be.
3-year,
Yes,
or do they?
They
You don't
do.
assess, oh, do they see in
Yes.
halfway through?
yes.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
We send notices out as well the same way with the sales update. Every individual's property owner, residential and commercial, gets the notice letting them know what their new value is going to be. They have that opportunity to sit with us again
Great.
every 3 years.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
So, out of
Yes.
400 and some thousand parcels,
We get it.
how many people took advantage of that informal review process last time? And of those, how many were adjusted?
I do have that information, however, I don't have that with me. It was, and I'd be more than happy to supply you with that information when I get back to the office. Somewhere close to 30,000 plus or minus taxpayers sent back to us the homeowner response form.
Some information, yes, okay.
There are
That's
many of
almost-
them, many of the homeowners that sent back to us asking us to raise their value. Because a lot of taxpayers are selling their home at a certain point in time when we're doing the reappraisal. And if our estimated value is below what they're asking for their home, they would get in contact with us and say that they think we undervalue their property. So I have those numbers for you. I'd be more than happy to submit them.
So as a result of those informal inquiries, there were some that were lowered, but that some were raised.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And some were left alone.
Okay.
And they were all notified by mail from the fiscal officer as to the reason for the decision.
And also, can you also let us know how many Board of Revision hearings there were in the meantime?
We can get that for you.
Okay, fine. Other questions or comments?
Yeah, it's just one.
Yes, please.
Is this commercial and residential?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I would I would support Ms. Rocco's request that we pass this under second reading suspension. It's a very big undertaking, and we don't want to be responsible here for slowing down the process by 2 weeks. That wouldn't be a good thing. So if my colleagues are in support of that idea, I would accept a motion at this time. Is there a motion?
Second.
And is that with recommendation for second reading suspension? Okay. So Councilman Hairston moves that we refer this resolution to the full council with recommendation to leadership to put it on the agenda for passage under second reading suspension, seconded by Vice President Jones. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Ayes have it unanimously. It is recommended to the full council.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Is there any miscellaneous business? Anyone signed in for public comment not related to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Mr. Ely.
Mr. Ely, welcome to the committee. You have 3 minutes. Please proceed.
Thank you, sir. I see y'all on the subject of available houses and buildings and such. And I thought I heard somebody say y'all got 400,000 parcels here. I want to know how many homeless people do y'all have in this county? Is there a record of that? And I'm trying to see why is there homeless people and abandoned houses in 2017 in the 21st century. Reason I'm asking these questions, because it's going to become a big issue in the governor's primary. Now, I'm running for governor for the state of Ohio. I will eliminate the homeless population, point blank. I'm from Dayton, Ohio, and we got a lot of problems in all 88 counties. I'm running against Jerry Springer first, this May. I ran for governor of Ohio in 2014 against Ed Fitzgerald and John Kasich. And I'm looking to be the first black governor of this state. And it's going to be big, big changes. We talking about reconstruction of all 88 inner cities. Now, why this hasn't been done, that's not going to be the issue. I will aid this project by decriminalizing marijuana and legalizing marijuana, and those funds will go for re-education of the homeless. Anybody got any problems with that? Y'all can address me after this meeting. I'm gonna deal with NAFTA. If they gonna sell automobiles in this state, there will be manufacturing plants back re-erected. I'm gonna slash the prison system in half. I will be the check and balance against the Court of Common Pleas in federal court, because apparently they can't do their job. I studied universal commercial codes, common law, jurisdictional law, and state law. Apparently somebody got it all wrong here. Y'all got 15,600 people overpopulated in the state of Ohio. And this ain't the biggest state. Somebody books ain't right. Y'all want to address this issue, I'm ready. We got to return common law jurisdiction. Should have been returned. My email is olakwezuylbe@gmail.com. That's OLAKWYELBEY. And my phone number is 614-282-3853. We got more than racism going on. We got loads of police brutality, which will be addressed. Because if an officer assaults somebody under my watch, he gonna have big problems. We need volunteers to help push this campaign, because there's never been a black governor here.
I would ask you to please conclude.
I'm finna conclude, and me and the head commissioner, we need to talk. There's been a lot of protests going on around this country, not just with black people, but the poor. And we got to deal with these issues. We just can't overlook it. Y'all been overlooking it far too long. This go for not just this county, all 88 counties. Now, I don't know what y'all job description is or was, but it's gonna change here. That go for everybody. Everybody gonna be on the same page. Black, white, blue, green, Jew, Gentile. Ain't gonna be no race problems, because every county and city and village gonna look exactly alike. That's all I have right now. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you for your testimony. There being no further business, we stand adjourned.